Welcome friends, welcome for the Geography MCQ discussion series. So we are in the fourth episode. Again we will be discussing the physical world and Indian geography MCQs. All these questions will be based on the NCERT and even some applied questions. So with the 40 episodes we will cover the 1000 MCQs with each episode 25 questions. Okay, let's dig into the questions. So we'll start the questions in this episode. Okay. So question number 76. In the which of the following sentences is incorrect? Okay, incorrect. In the northern and the southern hemisphere, the seasons are opposite. Second statement. In winter solstice, the sun rays are on the Tropic of Cancer. Next, in summer solstice, the sun rays of the sun appear are perpendicular to the Tropic of Capricorn. Next, on spring and autumn equinox, duration of the day and night are same. Okay, so it's all about the seasons and the sunrise vertically on the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn, and about the equinoxes. Let's see. Okay, first of all, we know equinox. Okay, so the word equinox refers to equal duration of day and night on some days. So we know that spring equinox, autumn equinox. So on March 22nd and the September 22nd, sunrise will be falling vertically on the equator. So that's why the globe complete receives equal amount of day and night length, that is 12 hours day length and 12 hours night length. Next, from the March 22nd onwards, the sunrise will be falling vertically in the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, so on this day we call it as the summer solstice. So for the northern hemisphere peoples it will be a summer condition, and peoples of the winter it will be a winter solstice. Next, after June 21st, again sunrise will be vertically on the equator on September 22nd. Again it is a equinox day. So from again September 22nd, again on December 22nd, exactly 3 months, the sunrise will be vertically on the Tropic of Capricorn. So it will be a summer solstice for the winter southern hemisphere peoples, and for the northern hemisphere we will be experiencing the winter solstice. That means the seasons are opposite in the northern and the southern hemisphere. Okay, let's see this question. So in the northern and the southern hemisphere, the seasons are opposite. So this statement is exactly correct. Next, in winter solstice, the sunrays are on the Tropic of Cancer. No. So in the winter solstice, for us in winter solstice, the sunrays will be tropical on the Tropic of Cancer. So when the sunrays are vertical on the Tropic of Cancer, we call it as the summer solstice, but not the winter. So this statement becomes wrong. Next, third statement. In the summer solstice, the rays of the sun are perpendicular to the Tropic of Capricorn. This is wrong statement, because for summer solstice in the peoples of the northern hemisphere, the Tropic of Capricorn, it is a winter solstice. When the sun rays are vertically or perpendicular to the Tropic of Capricorn, we call it as the winter solstice, but peoples of the southern hemisphere, they call it as the summer solstice. So it is again wrong statement. Fourth one, on spring and autumn equinox, duration of the day and night are same. So this statement is exactly correct. So here the question is demanding the incorrect statement. So first statement is correct. The seasons are opposite in both the hemispheres. In winter solstice, sunrise at Tropic of Cancer. No, it is a summer solstice, and this statement is also wrong. So 2, 3 are wrong. So incorrect statements. Option we have A, 1 and 4, B, 2 and 3, C, 3 and 4, and D, 1, 2 and 3. So only 2 and 3 statements are wrong. That means B option is correct. Next question. The reason for the Earth's geoid shape. Okay. Again, it's a repeated question. Let's see the explanation. The speed of more rotation near the equator, flattening near the polar region 3. Its path around the sun is elliptical. Next, continuous blowing of the solar winds. We know Earth is in the geoid shape. So what is the reason? Let's see. So this is the geoid shape of the Earth. That means flat near the polar region and bulge near the equatorial region. Why the Earth is in shape? Again, we know that Earth is having the rotation. That rotational speed is not constant. Okay. So Earth is having the highest rotational speed near the equator, that is 680 kilometers per hour. And this rotational speed keeps on decreasing from equator towards the poles. So in the 45-degree latitude, it is half of the near the equator. That means Earth rotates at a speed of 840 kilometers per hour roughly. Again, near the 89 degree latitude, it is hardly 1 kilometer per hour, and near the 90 degree north and south poles, it is hardly 0 kilometer per hour. So, why this rotation speed keeps on decreasing? Because of the land area only. Where the land area is more, the rotational speed is very high, and as we move towards the polar region, the land area goes on decreasing. That's why the rotational speed also decreases. So, because of this condition, the earth is flattened near the polar areas, and it is got little bit bulge in the equatorial region. So, this shape of the earth we call it as geoid shape. So, let's see the question. So, the reasons are the speed of more rotation near the equator. This statement is correct. Next, flattening near the polar region. This is also correct. Next, its path around the sun is elliptical. So, this has nothing to do with the geoid shape. Next, continuous blowing of the solar winds. This has to do with the auroras. Nothing to play a role in the geoid shape of the earth. So, only option 1 and 2 are exactly related to the geoid shape of the earth. So, in the options we have A, 1 and 2, B, 2, 3 and 4, C, 1 and 3, and finally D, all of the above. We know only option A, 1 and 2 are correct. Next question. In which of the following planets we can see a sea of hydrogen? Okay, so again, as we discussed in the previous episodes, option A, we have a Mars planet, next B, Jupiter, C, Uranus, and D, Saturn. Let's see example. Again, we know that Jupiter is called as the failed star. Jupiter is called as a failed star. Why it is called as a failed star? Again, we know that within the Jupiter planet, 75% it is made up of hydrogen and 24% is helium. Even the stars also having the highest amount of hydrogen and helium. 91% is hydrogen and 8.5% is the helium roughly. So, as the stars having their highest amount of temperature at their core, they will support the thermonuclear fusion reaction. That's why they are called as the stars. But in case of the Jupiter, though it is containing the highest amount of hydrogen and helium, it could not become a star because its internal temperature is very less, or it is not sufficient to support the nuclear fusion reaction. So, because of the excess pressure, the hydrogen present in the Jupiter planet, it is turned into a liquid condition. So, that is called as the liquid hydrogen. That means the sea of hydrogen, it is found in the Jupiter planet. Okay. So, here we have the option A, Mars, B, Jupiter, C, Uranus, D, Saturn. So, option B, Jupiter is the correct one. Next question. What does it mean by the midnight sun? Okay. So, here the question is demanding about the midnight sun. Let's see the explanation. First one, A, the sun shines for the longest time in the polar regions, observing the sun in the midnight through telescope near the polar areas. Next, C, the brightest full moon. Next one, D, none of the above. Let's see the explanation. Again, we know that Earth is tilted to 23.5 degree from its axis. So, because of that, we have a seasonal variations. If the Earth is not tilted and having the same 90 degree, exactly if it is not tilted to any degree, so on the globe throughout the year, we would have experienced the same amount of day and night conditions, that is 12 hours day length, 12 hours night length. Because of the tilt in the Earth axis only, we are experiencing the seasonal variation. Okay. So, because of this condition, see, on June 21st, we know that sun rays fall vertically on the Tropic of Cancer. So, because of this condition, the northern hemisphere will have the longest day length and southern hemisphere will having the shortest day length. That means in the northern hemisphere, more than 24 hours. So, almost 24 hours will be the day conditions in the polar area especially. That means in the northern hemisphere, day length keeps on increasing and the day length decreases in the southern hemisphere. Especially in the polar area, we can witness the complete 24 hours of the day length. So, in the Norway region, you can see the midnight sun. That means the sun will never set in the Arctic Circle region. Above the Arctic Circle, the sun will never set on the summer solstice day, that is on the June 21st. So, because of this, you can see the sun moving in the midnight condition. So, here we have a option. The sun shines for the longest time in the polar regions, observing the sun in midnight through telescope near the poles, the brightest full moon, none of the above. So, again, we know the option, the sun shines for the longest time in the polar region. That is called as the midnight sun. Again, we know that Norway is called as the land of midnight sun. Next question. The time it takes the moonlight to reach the earth. Okay. So, again, option A, 1.34 seconds, 1.58 seconds, C, 2.48 seconds, D, 58 seconds. Let's see. Again, we know that only the stars are the self-illuminating objects. Except stars, no other celestial body is having the self-light. Again, moon is also a natural satellite. It is also not having any self-light, just like the earth. Even the earth receives sunlight, light from the sun. Even the moon also receives the light from the sun. The reflected sunlight can be seen on the moon. So that's why even the moonlight will take exactly 1.34 seconds to reach the earth. We know speed of light is exactly 3 lakhs kilometers per second. So distance between this moon and earth is almost 4 lakh kilometers roughly, 3,80,000 kilometers. Again, it will sometimes it will be reached to 4 lakh kilometers also. So based on the speed of light, we can say the distance between the earth and moon is 4 lakh kilometers, and the time taken by the moonlight to reach the earth is exactly 1.34 seconds. Okay. So here we have the options: A 1.34 seconds, B 1.58 seconds, C 2.48 seconds, and D 58 seconds. The correct option is 1.34 seconds. Next question: which of the following element is found in the neutron star? Okay, let's see the option: A carbon, B oxygen, C nitrogen, and D iron. Let's see what is this neutron star. What is a neutron star? We know the stars are mainly made up of the hydrogen and helium. 91% is the hydrogen and 8.5% is the helium. So stars undergo nuclear fusion reaction. Okay, so in that process, hydrogen will convert into helium. If the stars are of a very smaller size, so after the end of the nuclear fusion reaction, they will end up as the black dwarf or the white dwarf. Black dwarf or the white dwarf. But there are some stars which are very larger or more than the 1.4 times the mass of our sun. So in that case, those stars can turn into, after the supernova explosion, either can they turn into neutron star or the black hole. Black hole. So the neutron stars refer to the stars which are more than 1.4 times the mass of the sun or up to 3 times the mass of the sun. They can turn into either neutron stars. So in these neutron stars, when the hydrogen, after completely uniting and turning into helium, in these neutron stars, if the stars are more than the 3 times the mass of the sun, this helium also further continues the nuclear fusion reaction. So again, 2 molecules of helium, either again they unite and turn into, after the helium fusion, it turns into carbon. Again, carbon also continues the nuclear fusion reaction. 2 molecules of the carbon, after uniting, turn into oxygen. Again, 2 molecules of oxygen combine and turn into nitrogen. Again, nitrogen also continues the nuclear fusion reaction, finally turns into iron. So iron is the very hardest element where it will not further undergo any nuclear fusion reaction. So usually the stars will contain the iron at their core. That means we can say iron will be usually seen in the neutron stars. So option D, iron is the correct one. Okay. Next question: which of the following sentences is correct? Okay. First one: there will be a longer daytime period in the northern hemisphere on March 21st. The southern hemisphere will have the shortest daylight on the September 22nd. On June 21st, duration of the day length and night will be equal throughout the entire earth. Fourth one: the duration of the day in the northern hemisphere goes on decreasing for about 6 months from September 22nd. Again, related to earth revolution and different equinox and the solstice days. Let's see the explanation. So again, on March 22nd and September 22nd, these we call it as the equinox days because the sun rays fall vertically on the equatorial region. That's why on the day, equal amount of day and night, we call them as equinox days. So from March 22nd, again the sun ray starts to move in the northward direction. So they will be exactly on the Tropic of Cancer. So again, on this day, northern hemisphere will having the longest day length, southern hemisphere will be having the shortest day length. Even the North Pole experiences the complete 24 hours day length and the South Pole experiences the complete 24 hours darkness. From again June 21st, the sun rays move back to the equatorial region. Again the 24 hours of day length comes to the 12 hours day length and 12 hours night length in the complete globe. From again September 22nd, the sun rays move to the southern hemisphere. So on September 22nd, on December 22nd, they will fall vertically on the Tropic of Capricorn. So on this day, southern hemisphere will having the longest day length and the shortest night length. Similarly, in the northern hemisphere, it will be a shortest day length and longest night length. Let's see the explanation. So question is asking which of the statements are correct. There will be a longer daytime period in the northern hemisphere on March 21st. No, March 21st and September 22nd are the equinox days. So it becomes a wrong statement. Next, the southern hemisphere will have the shortest daylight on September 22nd. No, even the it is also equinox day, it will receive the equal amount of sunshine. So this statement also becomes wrong. Next, on June 21st, the duration of the day length and night will be equal throughout the entire earth. No, again this is also wrong. Only on the March 21st and September 22nd, this situation will arise. Next, the duration of the day in the northern hemisphere goes on decreasing for about 6 months from September 22nd. Okay, so we know that September 22nd is the day on which again the sun rays will be vertical on the equatorial region. So from here onwards, 3 months, September to December 21st, sun rays will be in the southern hemisphere. Again up to March 21st, it will reach the equatorial region. So this 6 months period is the where northern hemisphere will goes on decreasing for about the duration of the daylight goes on decreasing. Okay. So only 4 statement is correct, rest all are incorrect. Okay. So which of the statement is correct? Only option 4, D only is correct. Next question, again related to days and seasons, match the following. So one side we have a June 21st, December 22nd, September 22nd, March 21st. On the other side we have a spring equinox, autumn equinox, winter solstice and the summer solstice. We know that June 21st we call it as the summer solstice, peoples of the northern hemisphere. We call it as the summer solstice. And December 22nd, peoples of the southern hemisphere, they call it as the we call it as the winter solstice. September 22nd, we call it as the autumn equinox, and March 21st is called as the spring equinox. Okay. So for one, it is D. December 22nd, it is winter solstice for us. So 2 is C. September 22nd is the autumn equinox, B, and fourth one is A. So DCBA 1, 2, 3, 4. Option A, DCBA is the correct one. Okay. Next question. What is the reason for celebrating the International Yoga Day on June 21st? Okay. Option A, on the day duration of the day is longer throughout the earth. B, on the day the sun will be more brighter. C, the sun rays will fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer. Finally, on the day the sun emits special rays. Okay, let's see the explanation. Again, on June 21st, the sun rays will be falling vertically on the Tropic of Cancer. So again, this is the northernmost limit where the sun rays will fall vertically in the northern hemisphere, beyond which the sun rays will never fall vertically. The angle 90 degree keeps on decreasing towards the polar area. Similarly, in the southern hemisphere, Tropic of Capricorn is the southernmost limit where sun rays will fall vertically, beyond which the angle goes on decreasing. See, peoples of the northern hemisphere here in India, we celebrate the yoga. Again, in that yoga, we perform the Surya Namaskara. That means receiving more sunlight, more energy from the sunlight. So in that case, on June 21st, as the duration of the sunlight will be a longer time in the northern hemisphere, so our Indian government recommended the United Nations organizations to declare the June 21st as the International Yoga Day. Okay. Again, we are planning for the harvesting the more amount of the solar energy from the sun rays. Again, the countries which are residing in the tropical areas, in that case, India is taking the leadership in the International Solar Alliance. That means producing more greener energy from the sunlight. So, the celebrating International Yoga Day is because of the June 21st. On the day, sun rays will fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. Next question. Which of the following sentences are correct? Okay. First statement, Russia is known as the land of sunrise. 2, the Arunachal Pradesh is known as the land of sunrise in India. 3, Norway is known as the land of midnight sun. Okay, let's see. See, first one, here is the Japan. Compared to again Russia region, this is the place where the majority residents can be seen. In this region, the number of residents are very less. That's why, or even we can say in this region there are no settlements here. So that's why Japan in the eastern hemisphere receives the first sunlight. That's why Japan is called as the land of sunrise, but not the Russia. Next, within India, again the easternmost state is the Arunachal Pradesh. So that receives the sunrise first. That's why it is called as the Arunachal Pradesh. The word Arunachal Pradesh refers to land of sunrise. Again, within the Arunachal Pradesh, we have two villages. Within the Rohit district, we have two places called Dang Basti and Vijaya Basti. These two villages will receive the sunlight first in India. Okay. Next, Norway is called as the land of midnight sun because it lies near the Arctic Circle region. So on June 21st, the sunrise will never set below this region. So beyond this region, that's why Norway is called as the land of midnight sun. So let's see the explanation. Russia is known as the land of sunrise. No, Japan is called as the land of sunrise. Again, Arunachal Pradesh is known as the land of sunrise in India. This statement is correct. Next, Norway is known as the land of midnight sun. This statement is also correct. So only option C, 2 and 3 are correct. Okay. Next question, which of the following sentences are incorrect? Okay. First statement says, on December 22nd, the sun rises in the northeast direction and sets in the northwest direction. On June 21st, the sun rises in the southeast direction and sets in the southwest direction. So we are talking about the December 22nd and June 22nd. Let's see. So we know that this is the Tropic of Cancer region. So June 21st, the sunrise will be vertically here. So if the sunrise are vertically here means, if this is the north, south and east-west direction, so this is the northeast direction. That means on this day, sun will be rising in the northeast and setting in the northwest. On December 22nd, sunrise will be vertically in the Tropic of Capricorn. That means sun will be rising in the southeast direction and setting in the southwest direction. Clear? Let's see the explanation. Here the question says, on December 22nd, sun rises in the northeast. Sun rises in the northeast. Now this becomes wrong because on June 21st only the sun will be rising in the northeast, setting in the northwest. That's why this statement becomes wrong. On June 22nd, the sun rises in the southeast direction and sets in the southwest direction. This also becomes wrong because on June 22nd, sunrise will be here. Okay, so that's why it will rise in the northeast direction and sets in the southwest direction. On December 22nd, sun will be rising in the southeast and setting in the southwest. So the statements are interchanged. That's why it becomes a wrong statement. Okay, so which are incorrect? So both are wrong statements. Okay. Next question, what percent of the moon we will never see? Okay, so option we have A 59%, B 41%, C 55% and D 60%. Okay, let's see. Again we know that distance between the earth and moon is almost 4 lakh kilometers. Okay, 4 lakh kilometers. Again we know that the rotation and revolution speed of the moon is equal, 27.7 days. That means for one rotation on its own axis it will take 27.7 days, and for one complete revolution around the earth also it will take 27.7 days. So because of this condition, this situation is called as the tidal locking. Tidal locking. Because of this situation, we will be always witnessing the or facing the only one side of the moon. The other side of the moon we will never see. Again, because of its rotation and revolution speed are same, so we could see hardly 50 to 55% of the moon surface, but not completely 100%. Okay, so this is in the normal condition. But again, the distance of the moon and earth also not constant. Usually we say 4 lakh kilometers, again it will come to 3 lakh 80,000 also, sometimes it will go up to 4 lakh 10,000 also. So when it is very near to earth, this situation we call it as the perigee. Perigee refers to, because it is under the gravitational influence of the earth, that's why we call it as G, and peri refers to nearness. So when it is very near to us, so it appears bit 5 to 10% more brighter and larger than the normal days. So in that case we can say up to 60% we will be seeing, but not complete 100%. So in that case, what percent of the moon we will never see? We said usually in the normal times it will be up to 55%, and in some perigee condition it will come up to almost 60% also. Okay, so hardly 40% of the moon we will never see it. Okay, so option B is correct one. Again, recently we lost the Chandrayana third mission, so we were watching the South Pole. Because of the tidal locking situation, we will be watching only the, or we will be seeing only the North Pole of the moon, but not the South Pole. So because of the Chandrayana mission, now we are seeing the South Pole of the moon. Next question, the average distance between the earth and moon. Again, as we discussed, the average distance between the earth and the moon is certainly 4 lakhs kilometers. Okay, next question, question number 89. The time of Greenwich prime longitude is lower than that of the standard time of India. Okay, so option we have: A, 5.5 hours behind; B, 5.5 hours ahead; C, 12 o'clock ahead or 12 hours ahead; D, 3.5 hours ahead. Okay, so we'll see the discussion. So this is the prime meridian. Okay, so 0 degree longitude prime meridian. So from here onwards the time is calculated. So we know that for every 15 longitudes 1 hour keep on increasing in the eastern hemisphere. Similarly in the western hemisphere the time keeps on decreasing for every 15 longitudes. And we know that in India we calculate the 82.5 east longitude as the Indian standard time. So if it is 12 o'clock or midday 12 in the London region, so in India we will be having 5 hours 30 minutes, that means 5:30 p.m. So here the question is asking, when compared to the Indian standard time, the Greenwich meridian time, how lower it is. Okay, so what will be the time near the prime meridian if it is 5:30 p.m. in the India? Okay, so certainly here the options we have 5.5 hours behind. This is the correct option. Okay, that means the time of Greenwich prime longitude is lower than that of the Indian standard time. That means near the prime meridian, if it is 12 o'clock in India, it will be 5:30 p.m. That means London prime meridian time is 5.5 hours behind of the Indian standard time zone. Okay, next question, on the surface of the moon. Okay, so what is the consequences? We'll see. First one, A, even if the mass of an object increases, its weight decreases. B, nothing changes in the mass and weight of the object. C, even if the mass of the object remains same, its weight decreases. D, even if the mass of the object is less, its weight remains constant. Let's see the explanation. So it is on the moon surface. Okay, so again we know that moon is under the gravitational influence of the earth. The official name of our moon is Luna. Okay, so we know that by size wise moon is 1/4 of the earth, with respect to gravity 1/6 of the earth. That means if a person is landing on the moon, though his weight may be constant, but the mass appears to be very low. That's why, because of the less gravitational force of the moon, the weight of an object, that means even if the mass of the object remains same, its weight decreases. Okay, so though the mass remains same, but the weight decreases because of the less gravity on the moon. Okay, so option C is the correct one. Next question, a unit that measures the distance between celestial bodies in the universe. Again, you might be knowing the answer. Option A, light year; B, nautical mile; C, kilometers; D, statutory mile. So unit that measures the distance between the celestial bodies in the universe. The correct option is again light years. Okay, we know that distance between the celestial bodies will be in lakhs together. That's why we measure it in terms of light years. So light travels at a speed of 3 lakhs kilometers per second. So in that sense, we'll calculate the distance between the Sun and Earth is 150 million kilometers. In terms of the light year, it is 8.3 light minutes. Okay, that's so option is A, light year. Next question. Which of the following sentences is are correct with respect to the solar system? Okay. So option statement 1 says the Earth ranks 5th in size and 3rd in distance in the solar system. Next, the Sun covers 85% of the solar system. Third one, asteroids are located between Mars and Saturn. Next, the size of the Sun is so large that all the planets can be filled into it about 600 times. Okay, let's see the explanation. So the first statement says Earth position and size. We know that within our solar system, 8 planets, Earth ranks 3rd in distance from the Sun and 5th with respect to size. Okay, so this is the distance by order. Again, Jupiter is the largest one, second one Saturn, third one Uranus, fourth one Neptune. Next comes the 5th one, Earth. Then comes the Venus, then comes the Mars, finally is the Mercury. Okay. So the next option says the Sun covers 85% of the solar system. Okay. So when we compare to the solar system, the 99.98% of the mass is occupied by Sun. Hardly 0.2% is occupied by rest of these planets. Okay. So that's why this statement is correct. Second statement is wrong. Next, asteroids are located between the Mars and Saturn. Okay, let's see. These are the asteroids. These are found between the Mars and Jupiter. Okay, asteroids are found between the Mars and Jupiter. That's why third statement becomes wrong. Second one is also wrong. Only first statement is correct. Next, the size of the Sun is so large that all the planets can be filled into about 600 times. Certainly, as the Sun occupies 99.98% of the mass in the solar system, all these planets can be filled within the Sun almost 600 times. Such a large is our Sun. Okay, so that's why this statement is also correct. Okay, so here the question is asking correct statements. So only 1 and 4 are correct, 2nd and 3 are wrong. That means only option B, 1 and 4 are correct. Clear? Let's go to the next question. Question number 93. Which of the following sentences is are correct regarding the eclipses? Okay. So first statement says during solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. During solar eclipse, shadow of the moon falls on the earth. Next, a partial solar eclipse is visible when viewed from the center of this shadow. Next, third statement is a total solar eclipse is visible when viewed from the edge of this shadow. Fourth one says the water and food consumed during the eclipse becomes poisonous. Okay, let's see what are the explanation. Again, we know that Sun is having the largest gravity. That's why Earth is revolving around the Sun. Even the Moon is under the gravitational influence of the Earth. That's why Moon is revolving around the Earth. So in that case, there are chances all the three, Sun, Moon and Earth, comes in the straight line. This condition we call it as syzygy. In these cases, we can experience or we can expect the eclipses. Okay, we have two types of eclipse, solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. See, when between Sun and Earth, when the Moon comes, then there is a solar eclipse. Why it is called as eclipse? The word eclipse refers to hide or mask. That means the Moon is blocking the Sun for the viewer who is observing from the Earth. That's why it is a solar eclipse. Okay, so in this solar eclipse, the Moon shadow, it is falling on the Earth. The center point of the shadow, it is called as the umbra, and the periphery of this shadow is called as the penumbra. What are the technicalities or the importance of these two words, umbra and penumbra? See, if you observe from the umbra portion, the Moon will completely block the Sun. So that's why in that case, we can experience the total solar eclipse. That means Moon is completely blocking the Sun. And from the penumbra position, it is at the periphery. That means if a person is observing from this region, he will see the partial eclipse. That means moon is partially blocking the sun. Okay. Again, these eclipses are also a common geographical day-to-day phenomena. Okay, a part of the day-to-day geographical phenomena. In that case, whatever the water and food consumed during the eclipses will never turn into a poisonous. Okay. See, what is the major changes we observe during the eclipse condition? Our body is also made up of almost 75% of the water. Okay. Again, we know that in these full moon and new moon conditions, we experience the tidals on the earth, spring tides or neap tides in that case. As our body also contains 70 to 75% of the water, when the gravitational influence of the sun and moon falls on the human body, so it will make some minor difference. That's all, but not necessarily turning into poisonous things. Okay. So again, we know that the solar eclipse occurs only on the new moon day. Okay, only on new moon day. But when the lunar eclipse occurs, it necessarily on the full moon day. Okay, full moon day. Let's see the explanation. Again, during solar eclipse, the shadow of the moon falls on the earth. This statement is correct. Next, a partial solar eclipse is visible when viewed from the center of the shadow. No, from the center of the shadow, we will see the complete total solar eclipse. That's why this statement becomes wrong. Next, a total solar eclipse is visible viewed from the edge of this shadow. No, from the penumbra, we will see the partial solar eclipse. So that's why this statement also becomes wrong. Next, water and food consumed during the eclipse becomes poisonous. No, this statement is also wrong. Okay, here the question is asking correct statement. In that case, so option C, only first statement is correct. Next question, the word diamond ring is associated with which type of eclipse? Okay, so again we have a option A, annular solar eclipse, B, partial lunar eclipse, C, total solar eclipse, D, both A and C. Okay, let's see what is this diamond ring. Again, as we discussed in the previous question, if there is a sun here, moon and earth. Okay, so sun, moon and earth. When the moon comes in between the sun and earth, we will experience the solar eclipse. So in that case, again, if the distance between the moon and earth is also not constant, again we know that average distance between the moon and earth is 4 lakh kilometers. So again, it may go up to 4 lakh 10 kilometers or come up to 3 lakh 80,000. So in that case, when the moon is farthest from the earth, when the moon is bit far away from the earth, in this case, situation, if there is any solar eclipse, the moon, instead of blocking the sun like it will be a part on the, or it appears as a ring on the sun surface. So this will be called as a diamond ring. Okay, so this is the how the diamond ring looks like. Okay, so the diamond ring concept applies to both complete total solar eclipse and the annular eclipse. So this kind of, when the moon appears as a ring on the sun surface, we call it as the diamond ring concept. Okay, that is possible only when the moon is a bit far away from the earth. Okay, but when it is, the moon is very closer to the earth, the moon completely blocks the sun. So here the question is, the word diamond ring is associated with the types of eclipse. Certainly there should be an annular eclipse and should be a total solar eclipse. Okay, in the partial lunar eclipse we cannot. So option, it is B, both A and C. Next question, which of the following eclipses will take longer duration of eclipse? That means it will take, which one will take the longer duration to complete. Okay, option we have A, solar eclipse, B, lunar eclipse, C, both will take the longer duration, D, none. Let's see. Here there is a comparison. Again we know that this is the lunar eclipse and this one is the solar eclipse. In these two eclipses, which is the object, celestial body, which is coming in between these two? Okay, so again we know that during the lunar eclipse, earth comes between the sun and moon, and during the solar eclipse, moon comes between the sun and earth. Okay, so when compared to the earth, the moon is very smaller in size. So in that case, it will take very short time to cross the shadow of the sun. That means it will take very short duration to come in between the earth and sun. So in that case, we will say solar eclipse is having the very short duration. But here in case of the lunar eclipse, see, when compared to the moon, here the earth shadow falls in a very larger area. So the moon will take very longer duration to cross this shadow zone. So in that case, we can say lunar eclipse will take the longer duration, but whereas the solar eclipse will take very shorter duration. So option it is lunar eclipse will take longer duration to complete. Next question, what does syzygy or conjunction refer to? Okay, the word conjunction refers to option A, we have the earth, sun and the moon are in the same straight line. Next B, the maximum level of the tide. C, the earth, the sun and the moon are 3 perpendicular in shape. D, the earth is at very short distance from the sun and the moon from the earth. Okay, let's see what is this syzygy refers to. Again, the word syzygy or conjunction refers to when all the 3 earth, moon and the sun are in the straight line. So this is possible only during 2 days in a month, that is only on the complete full moon day or completely on the new moon day. Okay. So in this condition only there are possibility. That means we can experience the solar eclipse only on the new moon day, and we can experience the lunar eclipse only on the full moon day. And in these days only the tides will be at a very great height on the earth because of the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. Okay. So the word syzygy refers to the earth, the sun and the moon are in the same straight line. Okay. So this occurs twice in a month, only on full moon day and new moon day. Next question, question number 97. The reason for the enormous energy in the stars. Okay. So what is the reason for the again we have discussed couple of times. Let's see. A, decomposition of the radioactive elements. B, there is more oxygen which helps in burning and release of energy. Third one says is the conversion of hydrogen into helium, and D, conversion of helium into hydrogen. Okay. See, again we know that stars are the self-illuminating objects in the universe. Why they are self-illuminating? Because of the thermonuclear fusion reaction occurring at their core. So what is the main cause for the thermonuclear fusion reaction? Again, because of the excess temperature, 2 molecules of hydrogen, they are uniting and turning into helium. In this process, they are releasing the excess amount of heat and light energy. Okay, so it is very clear. So here we have an option again, C, the conversion of hydrogen into helium, nothing but the thermonuclear fusion reaction. So hydrogen is turning into helium, but not the helium into hydrogen or more oxygen radioactive elements. So option only C is correct. Next question, which of the following sentences are correct? Okay, option A, due to scattering of light, the ocean water and the sky appears blue. Okay, again applied question. B, the color of sunlight is white. Next, C, dust particles in the sky, water particles in the ocean absorb this blue color. The reason is they are very long waves. Okay, let's see. So here is asking about the sunlight color, why the ocean is blue and even the sky is blue. Let's see. First of all, we know that sunlight is white in color. Okay. Again, this white light is also having the spectrum. Again, we know that gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, visible one, then infrared rays, microwaves and the radio waves. This is the electromagnetic spectrum. So ultraviolet is also not visible. So only we are in the visible portion. Visible portion refers to violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Okay, so in this wavelength only we can see. So before the violet it is ultraviolet, we are not able to see. Then comes the red, after that infrared, microwaves, radio waves. So in this electromagnetic spectrum, here the frequency will be very high, then the wavelength increases. That means frequency is more, wavelength will be less. Wavelength is more, frequency will be less. So it is very difficult to observe this rays when they are having the very high frequency, and it is very easy to observe the lights having the longer wavelength. So in that case, within the visible spectrum, violet, indigo, blue, here also frequency will be very high. Thereafter the frequency decreases, wavelength increases. The ocean we call it as the blue planet. Sorry, the earth we call it as the blue planet because of the 71% water in it. The water particles in the ocean water, it is very difficult for them to absorb these 3 colors, violet, indigo, blue colors. That's why the water particles scatter this and the ocean water appears blue in color. Similarly, the dust particles found in the sky also or in the atmosphere also. For them also it is very difficult to observe this violet, indigo, blue, green. That means within this violet, indigo, blue colors they also get scattered. So because of the scattering only the sky appears bluish in color. The longer wavelengths are these are completely absorbed. So here these are only long wavelengths, it is easy to observe, but the higher frequency it is very difficult to observe. Let's see the explanation. So option A says due to scattering of the light the ocean water and the sky appears blue. It is certainly correct. Next one, the color of the sunlight is white in color. That's why the when you observe through the prism it splits into 7 different colors. Okay. Next, dust particles in the sky, water particles in the ocean absorb this blue color. But here says the reason is they are very long wavelength. No, it is getting the dust particles in the sky, they are not absorbing, they are scattering it. They are scattering it because of the scattering only. Why they are scattering? Because they are very short wavelength. If they are long wavelength, they would have certainly absorbed. Just like the green, yellow, orange and red. But this violet, indigo, blue, they are having the very high frequency. Where it is because of the high frequency only, it is very difficult to absorb. That's why there is a scattering. Okay, that's why there is a scattering, and because of the scattering only, those two are appearing in blue color. Okay, so in that case, this statement becomes wrong. Though till here it is correct. Okay, even this is also becomes wrong. So B is correct, A is correct. That means the question is asking correct ones. So only A. 1 and 2 statements are correct. So next question, 99th one. Why is the zone between north and south 23.5 degree latitudes called tropics? Okay. Option 1 statement says this area receives more sunlight. 2. The sun rays are not vertical except for this zone. Third one, the daily motion of the earth has increased in this zone. Okay, let's see the explanation. Again, on the earth, based on the temperature, we have 3 zones. Okay, so the line between Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere, togetherly we call this as the tropical zone or torrid zone, because this area receives the maximum sunlight. Again, we know that within the northern hemisphere, because of the earth tilted to 23.5 degree from its axis, in the northern hemisphere, Tropic of Cancer 23.5 degree northern latitude is the maximum limit where we can see the vertical sun rays, beyond which the sun rays angle keeps on decreasing. Again, within the southern hemisphere, 23.5 degree south, Tropic of Capricorn is the southernmost limit where the sun rays can fall vertically, beyond which the angle keeps on decreasing. Certainly the temperature also increases. In other words, we can say that within the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, in one or the other day, the sun rays will be vertically in this zone. That's why we call this as the tropical zone or the torrid zone. So beyond which, see, from the Tropic of Capricorn to Antarctic Circle in the south, it is called as the temperate zone, because the temperature gradually comes down. Even Tropic of Capricorn to Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere. So beyond this, again we will be experiencing the 6 months day and night condition. That's why this is the very frigid zone. That means completely ice covered zone, Antarctica and the Arctic Ocean. Okay, so these are called as the polar areas or the frigid zones. Come back to the question. See, first statement says this area receives the more sunlight. Certainly correct. The sun rays are not vertical except for this zone. Certainly correct. The daily rotation of the or the motion of the earth has increased in this zone, not necessarily related to this topic. Okay, even the earth rotation speed is more near the equatorial area, but that is nothing to do with the tropical zone. Okay, so in that case, north and south 23.5 degree tropics region. So options only 1 and 2 are related to this, not the third statement. Okay, so option B is correct. Next, question number 100. Consider the following sentences. Okay, first statement says the earth is not moving at the same speed around the earth in its orbital path. Okay, the annual revolution of the earth around the sun is also not constant. Sometimes it will be moving very faster, sometimes it will be very slower. So this is the statement is conveying. Okay, next, the speed of the earth's revolution is higher when the earth is at the perihelion position and lower when it is aphelion. Next, so which statements are above correct? Let's see. Again, we know that this is the sun and this is the orbital path of the earth. Again, this is called as the elliptical orbit. Elliptical orbit. Why it is called as elliptical orbit? This is not like a perfect round. Okay, so it is this shape. So this indicates this is the farthest distance between the sun and earth. Again, we call it as the aphelion. Okay, and the very shortest distance between the sun and earth, we call it as the perihelion. Okay, so helion word refers to sun, peri refers to very closer. Okay, aphelion refers to very farthest distance. Again, we know that average distance is 150 million kilometers. So it can come up to 150 million kilometers in the aphelion or up to 148 million kilometers. So again, we know that gravity plays a major role in the elliptical orbit. So when the earth is a bit far away from the sun, so the gravitational influence of the sun on the earth will be very lower. That's why its revolution speed will be very slower. Again, when it is very closer to the sun, so in order to overcome its gravitational influence, the earth rotates very fastly. So that's why its revolution speed is not constant. It depends on the nearness to the sun. Clear? So the first statement says the earth is not moving at the same speed around the sun in its orbital path. This statement is correct. The speed of the earth's revolution is higher when the earth is at the perihelion. Correct. Again, when it is the position and lower when it is aphelion. Certainly. Okay, so which statements are correct? Again, see both 1 and 2 statements are correct. So this is the end of the 4th episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. For more updates, please watching the Uttara Academy.